Welcome to our channel, Million Dollars Made Easy. On this channel, we create all kinds of different spreadsheets to help you answer your questions of where you might be in the future. We use the actual historical returns of the S&P 500 for the last 100 years, which includes the depression years, and we simply project ahead what similar returns might do for the future. They won't be exact, but the resulting numbers are simply a possible range of what may happen. So people send me their requests, and I'm happy to oblige if I can, but try to keep it really simple to these kind of criteria. I've got somebody that's got this question for me. It says, I'm 18 and working to retire early. Can you do one showcasing what it would take to retire in either 20 or 25 years? The goal is to have $50,000 a year in 2024 dollars using a 4.3% withdrawal rate or less. I currently have 40,000 invested, but I want to see how much I would need to invest monthly for 20 or 25 years in the best case, worst case, and what I would have needed using the median. Now that sounds like a lot to do, but actually we can do this for this individual. So what we want to do is go ahead and start plugging in his numbers. Again, he's only 18. He's got 40,000 saved up. That's his beginning balance. 40,000. Says he wants to know how much it would take to accumulate $50,000 a year, which would be about $4,250 a month, a little bit more than that. But he wants to know how much he needs to save to do that. Again, we do it for every single year. He ran some numbers himself, and he said he got anywhere from, I think he said, what was it, 1,200 a month? Let me check here real quick. 1,250 a month. So we're going to go ahead and run this for every single year for the last 100 years using the S&P 500 just to see where he'd be. He also said he would increase it by his yearly contribution by 1% a year. So we're going to start up with this 1,250 that he wanted me to run. And we're going to go ahead and update this and see where the numbers might show. Again, it's going to be a range. I don't have a 20-year column, but I've got the 21, 23, and 25. So we can give him a pretty good idea of what he might have in the future. Again, the stock market can be all over the place. These are the actual returns that we use. I'm soon going to be adding 2024 numbers here, which should be positive, which will help. But anyway, we want to go ahead and run the numbers for him. In this case, let's just look at the 25-year column. Saving $1,250 a month after 25 years. These are the returns since 1924. What you would have after 25 years. Let me just show you here real quick. 1924 numbers. After 25 years, you can see it right down through here. 1,320,000 going down through here. So there's the 1,320,000. So if you look at this column, that's actually the worst case scenario is using the 1924 numbers. Why? Because it started out really good, but then it hit these depression type returns. So that's actually the worst case scenario. By the way, he would have put in 463,000 given this scenario. The median in this column is 2.380 million, and the maximum for a 25-year period last 100 years would be 7.2 million. So we got the range that we talked about here from the lowest to the highest, and that's the median. Now, what would the buying power of this be in 25 years? We usually use a 3% inflation rate. So the buying power of this 1.320, again, this is the worst case scenario if we use the numbers from 1924, would be $630,000. Now, he wanted me to run it at withdrawal rate of 4.5% or less. Using a 4.5%, this would provide him $2,365 a month. It'd be well short of his $4,250 that he would need. I'm going to look at the median here real quick, see how that might improve the situation. If we use the median in this column, then he'd be 4,264. He'd basically be there. So if he got the median in the next 25 years doing this 1,250 a month, he would have just what he's looking forward to. So hopefully this makes sense. Well, let's go ahead and do some other things here. Let's go ahead and do this at, he also said 22,050 a month. He ran it, if he was looking at the 20-year column. So the closest I have is a 21-year column. I'm going to go ahead and update this. Okay, we've updated the numbers now for the 21-year column. Again, I don't have the 20-year column, but this should give me a rough idea. In that case, the worst case scenario, given this scenario, starting with 40,000, putting in 2,050 a month, increasing that by 1% a year, you're going down through there. The worst case scenario for a 21-year period would be 1,087,000. The median would be 22,322,000 going down through here. And the buying power of these amounts would be right here correspondingly with this 3% inflation rate. This million had the buying power of 584,000, which would provide him 2,193, well short, about half of what he was looking forward to, the 5,000 a month. Now, if we use the median right here, let's go ahead and use the median, see how those numbers might work. In the median, he'd have more than what he needs. You see the $4,681. So again, if he got the worst case scenario, he'd only have about half of what he's looking forward to, which is 50,000 a year. But if he got the median down through here with this 2050 that he was talking about, he would have more than the $50,000. This is 4,681 a month in buying power. If we go back here to 19 years, it'd be 3,760. Again, that'd be 2 years less. The worst case scenario, the medians, all these are right here. But he wanted me to just run the numbers for him to see where he'd be. Let's do one other thing. If he's uncomfortable with, let's go back here. If he's uncomfortable with worst case scenario, only providing him half of what he's planning on. Again, this is in 21 years. If he carried out for 25 years, this 2050, then he'd be up to 3,510. But again, folks, this is in the worst case scenario. He'd have 1.959 million contributing to this, starting with the 40,000. In the worst 25-year period, that's what he would have, 1.995. Let's see, this looks like it's 1923. It's another year. Anyway, 1.959 have the buying power of just under $1 million, and that would provide at a 4.5% withdrawal rate. Now, if we change this withdrawal rate, we change that to 4%, then all these numbers change, and it means you have less possibility. But if you change to 5% withdrawal rate, then you'd have 3,900 in the worst case scenario for a 25-year period. But he asked me to run it at 4.5 or less. And so that's what we're doing. We can change these numbers any way he wants. But again, if we change this to the median, then you have all kinds of money over a 25-year period, over a 23-year period, and even over the 21-year period. It's probably going to be right at 20 years if he would do this 2050, and he just got the median of what happened in the last 100 years for, again, I don't have the 20-year period, but for the 21-year period. But again, what he was asking for is how much would he need to save given this kind of criteria so he could have $50,000 a year in today's dollars. And so that's the numbers that we ran for him. Hopefully this is kind of what he was looking for. But that shows you all the potentials we can do. We got all kinds of different spreadsheets, and each one of these we can change all kinds of variables for you. But that's what we do on this channel. We run numbers for people. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Please let people know that a channel like this exists, that I'll run numbers for them. There's no guarantees, but if something's been happening for 100 years, it's probably not going to vary much from the range that's happened in the last 100 years. And that's what we saw. There'd be a range from here to here over a 21-year period, or from here to here over a 25-year period, or any of these other numbers. We take into account inflation, and then we also project what you might be able to get using these numbers with these kind of withdrawal percentage rates. But that's what we do on this channel. We just love doing it for people. Again, please subscribe. Please share this channel with others, and let them know that there's a channel out there that I do this for them. And please be patient with me. Sometimes I don't see your request right away. Bear with me. I get kind of busy sometimes, especially at this holiday season. But thanks so much for watching.